Welcome to the Inner Flame podcast where stardust meets the body. And we're looking at the last week of April, y'all. The last week into the first couple days of May. So we are at April 27th through May 2nd, okay? And this week is going to feel like there's, again, that paradox. I mean, I feel like that's my favorite word, and I'm like seeing more and more and more and more and more how life and experiences and energies are literally paradoxes, but I digress. This week, it feels like there's so much movement, like there's so much just moving along, swirling around, but it's really, really, really also asking us to slow down. At the beginning of the week, we've got this breath of the cosmos, which has to do with my will to thy will, right? So it's like micromanaging the universe. And this might be like, where are your control issues like really coming up? And where are those sometimes stopping us from allowing healing to happen, from us allowing that interruption of that feedback loop, right, that we were kind of really working through last week? I feel like this is really about moving away from the human doing, like the pressure of performance, the perfectionism, the hustle mentality, the go mentality, and actually finally coming into the human being. And I think that is just such a foreign concept that not many of us really know how to slow down to that capacity. And as my dog she likes to sit. I don't even know if you can see her. Hi, say hi, Jonesy. She sits right behind me and she tucks herself in. So I'm like on the edge of the seat. Okay. So I just think that this is, an opportunity for us to recalibrate. There's a restructuring going on. Again, I wrote some of my notes down so I don't forget anything. There's this feeling of, okay, where are we maybe controlling our circumstances too much? And if I'm really going to be vulnerable here, I really had a situation in my marriage where for safety, not that I was in any kind of distress in that way, but, wanting things to get done. So my nervous system was like, you're not safe unless you can cross this off the list, right? And I realized that I was actually compounding the issues in the first place, where my husband was like, no, I'm going to just shut down now. Like, this is turning into so much pressure, because I was trying to micromanage everything. And there was really I learned where, okay, not only did I learn, I had to see it. I had to make that light bulb moment of, oh, I see what I'm doing here, so how can I create safety in my own body rather than wanting it constantly from the external? So there's this big message for at least the first half of the week of, not only for this week, but what we're moving into is, how can I really create grounded peace in my life, in my body, in my everyday living, right? And life be lifin', my life is very full right now. My children are busy with sports. We're busy. Life is going a million miles a minute. But how am I every day trying to create peace in my body? Right? Because I think we reach a whole level of exhaustion. And also okay, life be life, and where do I need to say no to certain things? Where am I maybe saying yes too much when I should be saying no? Okay? So this is, and I feel okay, so where am I micromanaging? What is something that I can learn? What is something that I can let go of to allow myself to learn something new. And this might even be saying, okay, like I'm speaking energetically, or, like even a pattern. But what if you're like, oh, I need to let go of saying yes to this so I can allow myself to take that pink class that I've been wanting so much, right? Because we've got the card breathe, and breath is really our life force, right? Our breath alone can heal the whole system, okay? And that's pretty powerful. And I think we're still learning what that all means for us as human beings. But also at the same time, this is saying to me, like, how are we really creating a safe nervous system? How are we creating safety in the body where I can say no to this and I can go do something new, okay? Then towards the middle of the week, we have this inner authority, intuition, turn the gaze within. But I feel like this is also a moment where it's like releasing past regrets. This just came up last week, I think, in conversation with a client that I had for a reading. And she was like, we did the soul unraveling session, and she was like, I still hold that with me because I was holding on and judging this version of myself, this past version of myself. And she was like, I didn't realize that I was self-abandoning myself. And it was so powerful in that moment. So this is like coming into our inner authority through the lens of letting go judgments towards ourself, self-blame, apologizing to yourself for maybe staying in a situation too long that did not deserve you. I mean, that's a really big one, right? And I feel like that's also wrapped up in last week where the timeline shift, right? It's like, whoa, man, I should have let this go so much longer. I should have let this go so much. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here. I should have let this go so long ago. It's really allowing yourself to not get caught up in the collapse here, because I feel like we could really spiral in this moment where we're seeing, and it could be like the micromanaging part of yourself, right? Like, oh my gosh, God, she just won't let go, or he won't let go, or he's gotta like micromanage every little detail. And then you kind of have that light bulb moment, but then you're sitting there judging yourself on all the things throughout your life. And this is not one of those moments. It's really just saying, how can we release these things? How can we not self-abandon? And I have a beautiful practice that I think I'm going to share this week specifically for this, okay? Because it seems really, really important right now. And this is a time for us to keep moving, okay? This isn't a time to stop. And I say it's not a time to stop. Of course, trust your own timing, but don't give up on yourself, right? There's a difference of allowing yourself to pause and feel whatever you need to feel, but there's also, the difference of just giving up on yourself and saying, I'm not worthy of any of it, and I'm never going to be able to be different, and I can't believe I couldn't let those things go, or the self-sabotage, right? The self-sabotage spiral. So there's really a beautiful restructuring happening here. And last week was very much about this timeline shift, right? Interrupting these patterns. And for this week, it's like, okay, the restructuring is literally happening now, right? Because we jumped the timelines. There's a recalibration, and you're being asked to not get stuck in that process, right? In this phase where you could spiral and shut down. This is really being able to hold compassion for yourself and apologize. And I don't even want to say apologize, but it's like, it is apologizing. It's like honoring, maybe not being able to listen to yourself back then, or what you needed to do, right? Like, I think so often it's like Sometimes we know we need to do something, but our nervous system is like, nope, don't do it. That's too scary. Like, you're crazy, just stay here. It'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. It'll change, right? This is really about releasing those past judgments of yourself around this stuff, right? And turn your gaze within and come back to your inner authority. When we claim those past versions of ourselves, and this reminds me so much of Persephone, because Persephone is all about claiming those parts of us that we shunned away, that we thought we weren't able to love, right? Or we're not worthy of love. This is very much of us going down, grabbing those parts of ourselves and going, you know what? I'm sorry, I left you behind there. You are worthy, and I do love you. It's going to make me cry right now thinking about it, because it's like such a simple thing, but it's so powerful, right? And that's you keeping moving. That's you saying, I'm not going to leave you behind. I'm grabbing you, and I'm gaining my authority back in this, right? I'm coming back to what I know to be true, which is all parts of myself are lovable. I just have to let my controlling part of myself, maybe sit a bit. She just needs to be in timeout, but I'm not completely abandoning her, right? Then we move on to the end of the week, which is really, this is such a beautiful, again, like we went through that timeline shift last week. We're now in the recalibration, and this is saying like, make your life a prayer, but you need to find balance. Right? And I think that's the key, because so many of us are like, I want to do this, or I want my life to look like this, or I want more time with my kids, or I need more time for myself. But you need balance. So again, it's coming back to, where are you maybe saying yes to too many things when you should be saying no, to be able to bring balance to your life for this prayer, this living prayer, to manifest in your life. And that's basically what's happening here, right? Like, make your life a living and moving prayer. This is going to take devotion and potency, right? Like, you got to show up for those dreams to manifest, right? I just wrote an article about Artemis and like the unseen. And I think sometimes we're so busy that we don't even tap into what our dreams are, right? And there's this whole process, I think, that we have to go through where, again, like that feedback loop. And I think I talked about that last week, where it's like, if you are still kind of running those patterns, your past is what's controlling your present moment and your future. So until you can break those patterns, your future is going to look very similar to the past, because you can only get so far. And this Artemis really talks about, claiming your autonomy and using the unseen forces to manifest your reality. And I think there's just so much power to that, right? Because she's talking about like the ions, and the ions in your body, and the ions that we can't see, but like literally using what we can't see to form, life as a moving prayer. And I think as we move more and more and more and more and more into the new paradigm, it's not going to be so much focused on the shadow work, which is a beautiful journey. It is a beautiful journey, but it's really going to be focused on, well, how can I allow myself to receive these blessings, right? And I'm not going to receive these blessings unless I allow balance into my life. So this is also very interesting too. Simple. Okay, for my day or for my week, what are things that can float? Push aside. If there are things that are going to sink if you don't attend to them, then those are the things that you need to get done. But all the things laundry, that's a floater, right? That doesn't absolutely need to be done. Picking your daughter up from school, yeah, that's going to sink, right? That needs to happen. It's just becoming aware of what you can move aside to allow more space. And again, it's like the saying, we're moving from the human doing to the human being, which feels like a whole concept in itself because we're not used to that at all. Like, yes, I'm a human being, but are we? No. And I keep talking about Celeste and what she talks about, like the body is the biological computer, and what we have to do to be able to allow that biological computer to operate to its max, which is probably not what you think it is. It's slowing down. It's becoming ourselves, right? Finding our inner authority, having a very healthy, elastic nervous system, and then creating a really, really beautiful life from that grounded peace that we are learning how to integrate throughout our lives. This is just such a big week for such beauty to unfold. And it could feel like emotionally intense in a way, because I think we could see parts of these ourselves that we're maybe judging, right? Or we're judging the situation or how we acted or responded to that situation. And this could be last year, this could be 3 weeks ago, this could be 10 years ago or more. I think there's going to be some stuff that really comes to the surface of this pattern, that we've been carrying with us. So, what really needs done? Right? I'm going to leave you with that. What really needs done? How can you bring your life into balance so that you can create the life that you want from devotion, potency, and it become literally a moving prayer? And I think it's, again, the slowing down. This week is a recalibration. It is a restructuring. And that might feel a little triggering because, again, you're going to be asked to say no on things, right? Oh man, I really want to do that. And I feel like for some people, your FOMO, right, might really come out here. Like you're wanting to say yes because you don't want to miss out on something. But where is that maybe your nervous system capacity not being able to just sit with itself? Okay. I will leave you. I hope you have a wonderful week. I would love to hear in the comments, like, if you're feeling any of the energies now or what you're feeling throughout the week, what has come up for you. You can always comment. I will be sure to get back to you. And you can join the chat in my Substack where we can just kind of support each other. It would be a great place to be able to say, this is what I'm feeling. You might just help somebody validate their experience by sharing your story, or also just feel really supported. So we can just kind of create a supportive community with the energetics. So I'm going to be sharing more throughout the week. And we also have, it sounds like Persephone wants to come through. So look out for her. Okay. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next.